She's passionate about telling stories of amazing women who are rocking the world and empowering women to live, love, and thrive. Here's your host, Katherine Gray.
Hi, welcome to Live, Love, Thrive Women's Empowerment Hour, brought to you by 360karma.com. We're so happy to have you with us today, and we're happy to have Mary Aggarwal with us today. She is the founder of two companies, Circle4parents and Nurture with an X. We are going to be talking about having work, life, and balance when you're a parent or a caretaker. Please give a warm welcome to Mary. Hi, Mary. How are
Katherine.
you?
Thank you.
Good, good. I think I heard some applause there. Anyway, how are you?
I'm good.
Good. I'm so happy to have you with us today. You know, this is a topic that I think a lot of people want to talk about, and they don't talk about,
Right.
and there's not a lot of solutions for it.
Right.
And that's why I'm super excited for us to talk about this today. I think actually, you know, I haven't really talked a lot about this on the show, so it's a good topic.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Well, you have 4 kids.
Yes, I
so
do.
it is no wonder that you saw a need to create a company, which currently is called Circle4parents.com.
That's right.
And you're soon launching the newer version, which is Nurture.com, and it's Nurture with an X, so N-U-R
XUR.
XUR
Yes.
.com. And it's really cool that the services that you've put together for people personally and professionally. And I know you do this for various corporations, and we're going to talk about that and how and why you realized there was such a need for what you're doing. You know, I always think people find their calling by recognizing a need that they have themselves, and then realizing that there's so many other thousands, if not millions of people
Right.
that needed the same service that
Right.
you saw didn't exist, right?
Yes. Yes.
So let's talk about that. But first of all, you were born in India.
I was.
Yeah.
Yes. I was born and raised in India.
That is
Yeah.
so fascinating to me, having been born here.
Yeah.
And, you moved here when you were how old? 20, was it?
I was in my 20s, early 20s.
I mean, it must have been like a cultural shock. Obviously, culture in India is so different than the U.S. And I know your parents even came here before you did, right?
Right.
So that had to have been a challenge, having them leave and come here first. But you were well taken care of with other family and
That's right.
friends and
Yeah.
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 And boarding school too, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, first of all, what was it like growing up in India? And then what was it like transitioning here to the U.S.?
Yeah, so growing up in India was kind of fun. It's very nurturing, and the nurture aspect doesn't just come from your family, immediate family. So not just your parents, but everyone around you. So your parents, friends, your aunts and uncles, and everyone's your aunt and everyone's
Right.
your uncle. So it's just very warm culture. And coming to America was a little bit shocking because
Yeah.
that wasn't really exactly available.
Right.
People are not very warm.
Right.
It just there's an aspect of respect, which of
Yeah.
course Indians can
Yeah.
also embrace. But that was the biggest difference I
You
saw.
know, it's funny you're saying this, and it makes me think about, when I was growing up as a kid here in the U.S., people seem to know their neighbors more.
Right. Right.
So I don't know if our culture has actually changed a little bit. Maybe it was never like India, where you guys
Yeah.
really come together and family supports each other and stuff.
Right.
Although I must say I have a lot of Italian and Jewish friends and stuff that are very family oriented and definitely take care of each other, and there is some synergy there. Yeah. But I know what you mean overall. In America, you can live in an apartment building and barely know your neighbor. It's like kind of a normal thing here. And so that's what you were experiencing and still experience here in Los Angeles, right?
Yeah. I think
You don't
that
have the support that you had there.
you don't have the support, and as we advance in technology connects us in many other ways, like social media and whatnot.
But in some ways
also- disconnects
separates
you.
us.
It
Yeah.
disconnects you, and honestly, I don't know my neighbors either. And
Yeah.
if I want to meet with a friend or colleagues, I have to book in advance. So the hope and the support is not immediately available.
You know, it's so funny you say that. That's one of the things I noticed first when I moved from the East Coast to the West Coast was, and I guess maybe because at the time I moved, it was in the technology boom where everybody was getting phones. But I did notice this odd thing about when I would say to somebody, "Ooh, you want to get together?" And they'd pull out their calendar and be, "Yeah, I could get together in 2 months." And I'd be like, 2 months? I was like,
Yeah.
what is with these LA
Yes,
people?
yes,
Like, I didn't even
yeah.
get, now I'm probably one of them. And
Right,
I probably
know.
say that. Well, I
Yeah.
could get with you and do it. But, it is something that
Yeah.
as a American culture, we need to realize how, technology is impacting our kids and
Right.
ourselves
Right.
in connecting with neighbors and friends.
Yeah.
And how important that is to our mental well-being.
And for our
You know.
hearts too. I mean, we
Yeah.
are human beings, and we have to connect with each other
Yeah.
to really feel that bond and connection. And when you don't have that, because
Yeah.
ultimately, technology can connect us, but if we're not speaking to each other,
Right, then it disconnects
Yeah,
us too.
right.
Have you ever read that book, Outliers?
I have.
Yeah,
yes,
about how this community of people that were thriving and
Yeah.
living long, healthy lives, they were wondering why? What was
Yeah,
it? Was it something
yeah.
they were eating or was it hereditary?
Right.
And they come to find out it's because they had community.
Absolutely.
I'm a big believer in that. It's one of the reasons I put on events is I think it's for the social and physical and mental well-being of people to come together.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
I think a lot of good comes out of that.
Yeah, and as I was really, when I was looking at starting the company, I would talk to people, and what I found was that women who were, whether they had money or not, as long as they had a community of people and the
Yes.
sisterhood they could rely on, didn't feel that postpartum depression in the same way, or I'd say postpartum blues in the same way as people in the Western world feel.
Right.
Because you're so disconnected from the
Right.
rest of the world.
So one of the interesting discussions we had prior to the show today was about how you were working in the financial world for like 22 years, and you were a rock star. I mean, you were top producer, and you really gave up a big career to start this company, as many entrepreneurs do. And we're going to talk about the reason that you did that. So you were working for some pretty big banks and with financial wealth advisement, right?
Yes, I was a wealth advisor.
Wealth
and senior
advisor,
VP.
yeah.
Yes.
And so some of the challenges of being a woman, and I do say a woman because women are the ones that have the children.
Right.
We were talking about how hard it is in the workplace, even today,
Right.
to tell your boss, man or woman, that you're pregnant.
That's right. I waited till I was 5 months pregnant, both with my third child and my fourth child. And it's not common. I think if you talk to people around you, and I mean, whether they're lawyers, attorneys, I mean, you name it, you'll find that many people today just hold off on telling their bosses that
Right.
they're pregnant.
And the reason being is that you felt
Yeah.
that you wouldn't get the opportunities that other people would if they knew you were pregnant. I think that's sad that we cultivate that in our culture. We should be celebrating it, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I felt that, it was just very interesting to me because I was at a very strong position in my own career, right? And when I realized that embrace wasn't there, that celebration wasn't there, it really put me at a very, sort of an uncomfortable place.
Yeah.
Which of course, if you look at the studies also, if you are feeling uncomfortable, if you're feeling sort of,
At disease or anxious.
anxious before you're delivering your baby, the chances are the postpartum will affect you even more.
Wow.
Right.
That I didn't know that. But what I love that you shared with me was that you you had recognized that when you were taking off 4 months maternity leave, they expected you to have the same budget as though you'd been there all year. Like whoever was at higher ups didn't understand that a woman taking maternity leave shouldn't be held to that full accountability of the whole year's budget.
It's goals, actually.
Goals,
Right.
okay,
Yeah.
goals. And that you eventually spoke to them about this,
Right.
and they changed it.
Yeah,
I love that you did that.
And I really, it's kudos to my former employer because I think that, again, like you and I were talking about, in many cases, employers are just not aware of what working parents are bringing to work. They're not aware of the struggles and the issues that we are burdened with every day. But when I did speak with them and I said, this is not right, that I have the same goals as somebody who's been here 12 months.
Right.
You need to change that.
Right. So you come back from maternity leave totally stressed out about having to meet your goals.
Right.
Yeah.
So lucky for me that was changed, but I'm also very grateful that the people who are coming behind me have that to rely on now.
That's probably also why people are hesitant to tell their boss they're pregnant, is because then they look at them like, well, they'll be gone for 4 months and they're going to bring in less revenue.
Right.
But, everybody has to, in America, realize there's more to life than money. And, that it's caring about the employees and their well-being mentally, physically, emotionally, and that's how we need to support each other.
Right.
And so you developed Circle for Parents, which is soon to be called Nurture with an X, because you wanted to offer to companies a support system for people that were in the position like you were, either as a mom or dad, or as a caretaker in some capacity. There's a lot of baby boomers out there that are having to care for their parents.
That's right.
It's not easy to do that and work full time and try to have a mental, emotional balance. But your company gives support that helps them to cope with it because they don't have people to go to.
Right. So going back to my own case and my own scenario, when I had my children, my third child and even the fourth child, what was going on in my mind was I have to come back to work. I have to try and balance my work, integrate it with work, and balancing all of these different aspects of life. But who was there to support me, right? So ultimately, my stress, my anxieties cost my employer.
Right.
Right. So depression.
And so now you go and speak to companies about this, about how offering this support as an employee benefit
ultimately benefits the employers.
Hugely impacts the company's success.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So today, absenteeism and stress and burnout cost employers $300 billion a year. So as long as employers start to recognize and be aware and start to do something about it, such solutions like well-being solutions that help employees who are working parents or caregivers, you will see that shift in well-being translate to ultimately productivity because your employees are present, they are less distracted, they're engaged.
Less anxious.
And your turnover is going to be
And they probably feel like the company cares about them.
Absolutely.
How about that?
Yes, absolutely.
So, and I know some friends that work for some of these tech companies, they're like total burnout. It's like, I don't even know how these people could have a family,
Healthcare is the same way.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So, so a company has the benefits of your company available to them. What does that look like? I'm a woman, I have 4 kids, I'm trying to juggle everything, but I want to be a good employee, but I want to have a happy, balanced life. What does Circle for Parents Nurture do for that person?
So we enhance well-being for working parents. That's our baseline. But ultimately what we do is we provide individual one-on-one coaching and consulting.
So you don't just show up with a martini and some weed. No, I'm just kidding.
Just
kidding.
But this coaching allows the employee to feel that there is a non-judgmental support.
Yeah.
right? There's no one, it's not your family, it's not your friend, it's not your colleague, it's not your manager.
Right, it's a
There's
third
somebody
party.
else that is supporting you. It's also not a therapist,
Right.
Our focus, our coach's focus is to help someone
Right.
move forward,
Right.
move towards their
and
goal.
you have coaches all over the country, right?
We are nationally based. Our coaches are across the nation. We also provide learning and development for the companies through group coaching,
Oh.
which is a big benefit to employers because it is an ability to bring together the employees and come to a place where people can actually openly talk about, a more general issue, such as if it's a company-wide well-being, if it's how do I take care of my stress, and so on and so forth. Yeah.
So you're saying in companies we often don't give people a platform to even talk on a personal level about issues that we're having.
Yeah.
So that we can, it kind of brings people closer, don't you think, to share those
Absolutely.
things?
I'll give you an instance where just about 4 or 5 years ago, I had, and this is way before this idea, I had asked everyone to come together, and we were talking about happiness. It was really interesting to me that I didn't even know we had all these employees in our office. People were coming from all different corners, from all their cubicles. They came and they all sat together. We all talked about what is happiness to them. It was just a beautiful space that people were able to actually just address issues and concerns, and that really, it inspired me eventually to bring all these people together and just create nurture.
Right, I love that.
Yeah.
So that was the impetus to your idea.
Right.
Is that having your need, seeing this group and saying, hey, this really helps people.
Yeah, many times all we need is someone to talk to.
Absolutely.
Many times we just need to share our thoughts, and someone is there to
acknowledge it.
And maybe the tools are right in our pocket.
Right.
Someone just needs to remind you that you already know what you're doing.
Right.
You already have that tool.
I do believe that. I believe we create our own fate.
Yes.
But sometimes we're sitting and waiting for things to happen rather than taking those tools, like you say, and making them happen.
Yeah.
Whether it's getting a promotion or,
Right.
starting a business or whatever it is. Yeah.
I'll give you a perfect example. Just couple months ago, my 4-year-old had eye surgery.
And
And now
remember that.
I've been creating this company, and I've really been surrounded by all these wonderful coaches and executives in my team. But I was, just before the surgery, my husband and I were not talking to each other. And he's a physician. We were not talking to each other. We were completely stressed out. I was
so nervous.
shut down.
Yeah.
I got on the platform. I connected with the coach. She was in Hawaii, of all the places, and I was able to really find peace.
I love that.
She reminded me we have the best doctor.
Yeah.
We've done everything possible.
Right.
We have a great team who's performing surgery on my daughter's eyes. And I went in that morning, just being at peace so I could hold my daughter and be there for her.
Right.
It's just a perfect reminder of what I needed at that moment, which I couldn't talk to my family, I couldn't talk to my friends, and I couldn't talk to anyone, including my husband, about that.
And it was, and so this is a platform that's like a community. You can jump on there and talk to a coach. You can talk to other people in the community.
Well, if it's a group setting, then you
Yes.
could talk to the community. But in most cases, it is an individual that you will be able to talk to because of that stress or that struggle that you're concerned with.
Yeah, I could imagine that. Like if even your child was sick or, tripped and hurt their head or something, that how nice it is to be able to jump on and have a third party that you talk to about it.
Right.
Because, otherwise people do feel all alone. And like you said, it's not so much a culture here where you can call the neighbor or call a friend or everybody's busy and
Right.
yeah.
And for those who have the friends and family to rely on, you have to recognize that's a blessing.
Oh, totally.
Right? You're so fortunate to have that.
But not everybody has that.
Not everyone
A lot
has
of people
that.
have moved here from somewhere.
Yeah.
Another country or another state. And so they do need that support.
Right.
So I think it's a beautiful thing that you're doing.
Thank you.
Speaking of your husband, I love this story. So first of all, you did ask your husband, Vinay, to marry you, right?
Yes, I did.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's a 21st century woman.
Yes.
And you got to tell everybody, you shared this story with me. So you asked him, but that week you had said what to your kids?
So my daughters and I got together and we said that mommy is ready to get married again, and I was ready to find a husband and a father to my children. And so we discussed that together. And either I was going to find a husband, or we were just going to settle with an ugly dog. So within a week...
Either was a good choice.
It was a good choice, exactly. Either was going to be a good choice. So within a week,
Wait, you already, and you came up with names for the dog.
They did. It was,
They were banking on the dog.
They were banking on the dog. They had thought of the names and everything, and it was nothing nice. It was just funny names. Within a week, I went to a friend's birthday party, and my husband was there, and I was wearing a red lipstick and black dress, and I made an announcement to all of these people. I said, listen, everyone, I'm looking for a husband. I'm looking for a father to my children. And if you know anyone, let me know. And by the way, I go to sleep at 9 o'clock. There's no fun here. So everyone pointed at him and said, he's your perfect candidate. He goes to sleep at 9 o'clock too.
Oh my God, is that what happened? That is so funny.
That is, yeah.
And so at first he ran.
He ran the other way, and then he realized he was going to miss a wonderful woman. So he came right back, and it was that easy. And within 13 days, he proposed to me.
Are you kidding me?
13 days, he proposed to me on Christmas Day.
Oh my gosh.
And then within a month, we were formally engaged. His whole family flew in from East Coast, and we had a formal engagement. And by June, we were married.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that is
Yeah.
wild. But I said to you, but you wouldn't have just married anybody.
No, I wouldn't
You said,
have. Yes.
he's your soulmate, your best friend. He's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a couple friends tell me one time, when you know, you know. And so
It's so true.
It is true,
it is
isn't it?
so true. I mean,
Yeah.
I knew it from the moment I went with him, even though he rejected me. I knew.
I think he probably got nervous. What? She's looking for a husband and,
Right.
and a father,
Yeah.
no doubt, to boot.
Right. I
Yeah.
knew that I had found my soulmate, and you've met him. He is
Yes.
just one of the sweetest person on earth.
Oh my
and
gosh, you are lucky.
I am so
Yeah,
fortunate.
you manifested it.
I
I say
manifested
what
it.
you say and what you
Yeah.
think and what you speak is,
Yeah.
what's going to happen. So there you go. You put
Yeah.
it out there. I'm ready. I want to find the right guy. It was that or the ugly dog. Boy, did he luck out.
Yes, I did too. And my
Good
children
thing you hadn't
did
got
too.
that dog yet.
That's another story. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm really happy for you, and I'm happy that you created this because I think you'll impact a lot of people. So the new website's going to be up. It's Nurture with an X, so you spell it.
Yeah, so
X?
it's NURXUR, nurture.com. But if you go to Circle for Parents, it will take you to Nurture.
Right.
We're ready to
Wonderful.
serve.
So if someone feels like, hey, I need a support system, they go to your website.
That's right.
Or if they have a company or work for a company
Yes.
that they think would make this an employee benefit,
Yes.
they could also tell them about that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I wish you much luck with it. It feels like a big, wonderful niche that you're providing services for. And I think, like you said, in this American culture of us not always connecting with people, it's wonderful to have that support so a woman or a man doesn't feel all alone in raising their kids. And a lot of people don't want to complain to family or friends anyway.
Right.
So what's better than a third party to say, I'm a wreck over this, and then have somebody guide you to use your own tools.
Right.
Like you said, it's different than therapy, to address a situation so that you feel at peace and happy and,
Yeah. And in many cases, people are also looking for guidance, right? They're not. They just don't want to be in the same situation as where they are. So this is really.
how do you change it up?
How do you change? How do you move forward? so you're not in that same space.
Well, they say that crazy is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting things to change. But often people, they know that, but they think, well, what is this something new I do?
Right.
So I love they can go to your company website and connect with somebody and figure out how they can change it up.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for tuning in. So happy to have Mary on here. I hope you check out their website, nurture.com with an X, and Circle4parents. And hope you're out there doing something that makes your heart sing as well. Make it a great week. Hugs and happiness.
Thank you.